Hello and welcome to level 20 of the Thoughts and Players podcast, the brand new gaming podcast with bold takes and no strings attached. And I am here once again with my two compadres. I have David.
What up?
And I have Cory.
Waka, waka, waka. Waka, waka. Waka. Pac-Man.
Yeah.
The Pac-Man.
I was gonna say, is that Waka Flames?
No.
Oh.
No, originally his name was going to be Puck-Man.
I don't
the developers were... Usually Jeremy interrupts me. Nice.
That's a long explanation.
We're glad you guys are joining us for level 20. I will say again, 20. It's a big one. 20 of the main levels, however many the bonus levels we have. Hope you guys are enjoying those as well. Make sure you check out our last bonus level, our 2021 video games draft.
That's a big one.
I would say, guys, check it out. Listen to all of us. We had a fun time. Special guests Cody and Joey. We all were there picking our games. I will say right now I'm dominating. And as I assumed and also feared for everyone else because I want people to feel like they're a part of it. But I am dominating. So
You're literally the only one that has a game out right now.
And it's scored high.
All right, so here's the thing. Before we even get into stories, that was actually going to be my final thoughts.
Okay.
Every final thought was going to be like an update, but you've taken it. So we'll just throw it out there. Right now, Jeremy, you are sitting at an 88 Metacritic for Hitman 3.
Right.
You're happy with that.
Very happy with it. It
First
scored,
game out the gate.
It scored higher than I
subpar.
expected. I expected maybe around an 83, 85 range, an 88.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried. Even though that was a second round pick, so it should be high, but that's a little higher than I also thought. So,
right, it has the potential to be higher than your first round.
Oh man, this guy's a douche.
All right. With that being said, we are going to jump into the morning announcements. News item number 1: a new Mario-themed Red and Blue Edition Switch was revealed. It's Mario and all its Mario-ness, and it's a Switch. That's really it, I think. Guys, did you guys get to see what it looks like? What are your impressions of it?
It's Mario Red and Blue, you know. I mean, if you don't have a Switch yet, I mean, that'd be cool, you know. I mean, Mario's the biggest thing for Nintendo. So it's just cool, I guess.
I'll say this. I don't think it's a very nice looking Switch. I don't like how pronounced each color is. It kind of seems just a little bit offsetting. But I think they threw this out here because it's Mario. Mario sells like hotcakes. Everyone's going to be buying this edition because they're going to put out the Switch Pro very soon. So this is the last, like, hey, buy this Switch before we reveal our new edition Switch. That's my conspiracy theory.
Okay. I wouldn't say it's a bad one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah. A news item number 2. Rust. The game Rust that I know you all have never heard of. It is coming to consoles this year. Now, I briefly mentioned Rust. It's basically a survival building game, right? You build up a base and you build up different resources you have to harvest and stuff like that. If you've played Ark, very similar, just no dinosaurs, but there are a bunch of other people who troll and use a plethora of racial terms. Guys, this is coming to consoles. Have you had any interest in Rust like I have? Or is this just, okay, cool, it's coming to consoles, whatever?
Yeah, my Polish heritage has kind of stopped me from going into there because, like you said, a lot of the racial terms, I don't want to be exposed to stuff like that personally.
Right.
But my main thing is this a little too late, right? Like, who really cares? These kind of games are now a dime a dozen. So like Rust might have been like the first really, really big one, but like there's dozens of them on consoles now.
Yeah, but Rust did recently blow up again because there's a server with a bunch of big streamers. And it's got a following again.
But
and that's like that's fair. I'm talking about like as terms of like just the actual game. Like it's had to be innovated on, right?
Yeah.
Like there's already better versions of it.
I think it's more of an interesting thing of what you're saying, Corey, in regards to its inception and its kind of zeitgeist in the culture and how it's finally coming to consoles, right? Because PUBG came out later than Rust and went to consoles way earlier than Rust.
Yep.
Right. So it's interesting because Rust has been around for a minute.
Right.
And now it's finally coming to consoles. It's weird it didn't come to, well, I guess it's coming to last gen or whatever, but like it's weird. That's strange. I mean, it took that long.
I mean, that's a great point with PUBG because PUBG was that first battle royal on PC and it blew up. And it had a chance to be the first one on console and kind of take that territory, but it waited. And then Fortnite was there, and then Fortnite blew up. So Rust, I think, kind of missed the boat. If it would have been the first on PC and on console, it might have been a like revolutionary game, you know, where it's like, hey, this is the game. But now it's just kind of I might get it, you know, but there's no guarantee.
I mean, you could maybe make the argument that Ark is that to some extent. I mean, there's some gameplay mechanics that Rust has that Ark doesn't, but Ark, the basic kind of survival, build a base, free, you know, PPE or you know, or PvP and stuff like that, or PvE or whatever. You know, it has all that stuff, and it also has dinosaurs. So
yeah, I would agree 100%. And Ark's coming out with the sequel soon.
Right.
So like Ark's already been on console, and it's making a sequel. Like this really doesn't have a place for me.
Yeah, true sequel. They tried to make a faux sequel with Atlas, and everyone rejected it.
Okay.
Which was supposed to be mostly like ocean themed, pirates and stuff.
Oh, oceans!
And people were like, "Oh,
Jeremy, did you play it?"
No, because I saw impressions and reviews on it. Because I saw impressions and reviews on it, and they were like, "Oh, it's basically just Ark with boats." So I already played Ark before, right? You can swim in the water in Ark. You can tame water animals in Ark, which I have done, right? I also wouldn't classify Ark as a water game, though.
Okay.
I have water games, by the way.
I don't approve of you.
I see where this is going.
I don't approve of you taming water animals, like using them as like your like, you know, free labor. It's not cool, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I learned that it's okay to train a Lapras and surf the seas with it. That's perfectly fine.
So he's your friend. Lapras is your friend. Move on.
Mm-hmm. Item number 3. The Poland Office of Competition and Consumer Protection is investigating the possible mishandling of Cyberpunk 2070 of the 7's refunds. Now, last main level, we went into depth about this game, about how a lot of things around it are kind of sucky, but also some stuff around it's kind of awesome. Guys, this is another instance of Cyberpunk getting some negative press behind it. First, what do you guys think about the fact they're getting investigated by the, let's say, POCCP?
POCCP, okay. My opinion is this, like, this is getting kind of blown out of proportion a little bit. There's been other games that have been super buggy and don't run well, and no one gets sued about it. No one gets investigated. Like, yeah, it was a very buggy game. It doesn't really work too well, but it does work. It does work. You can play through it. It's just a very buggy game. So, like, you can choose to buy it or not buy it. Yes, they were a little bit unethical with their advertising of it, but all video game companies are.
Well, this is specifically like, with their refund policy.
Well, what are they investigating exactly?
I guess because at one point they said that people can just get a refund whenever they want, but then they didn't really coordinate that 100% with PlayStation or Xbox or something like that. So there was like some confusion on the part of them and the different platforms they were selling their games on.
That's fair. That's totally different than I was talking about. So someone else please take the board.
Right. That's why I decided to save you before you got too far.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeremy?
I think, hey, you got to get investigated. I think it's going to pretty much be a lot much to do with nothing, because they're going to get the refund thing handled and figured out. And this is obviously for pre-orders or early purchased orders. This isn't for anything now, because there's been enough put in the press that a person who buys the game now is informed about what they're getting into with the game. So I think it's dealing with refunds with that. I think they'll eventually get it handled. I mean, there's precedent for this with No Man's Sky. I feel like they're going to follow the same procedure.
Ditto.
Thank you. David, any thoughts?
No, you said it.
Okay. I nailed that one.
Thing.
Yeah.
I nailed it. All right. Let's go on to news item number 4. I'll nail this one too. Bethesda reveals a new Indiana Jones game in development by none other than the developer Machine Games, who was behind Wolfenstein. Guys, are you interested in an Indiana Jones game being developed by Machine Games?
I got to stop you real quick. Indie Spotlight's not till the end of the level, Jeremy. Indie Spotlight. To David.
Why are you like the way that you are?
I've been saving that joke for a week.
Terrible joke.
It is a terrible joke, but
it's a terrible joke.
Loyal fans will get it.
I'm excited for this as much as I was about the movies, and I've never seen an Indiana Jones movie, so
Ditto.
That's where I stand.
Dang. Okay. Indiana Jones, he pioneered Nathan Drake and Lara Croft. That's kind of where they get their inspirations from. So if you can get the source material of that and, get the Harrison Ford lookalike and like throwbacks from the movies and these big adventures, like adventure games are just fun. Those games are fun because they're just over the top and explosive. And Indiana Jones can be that for Xbox, which will presumably be an exclusive, hopefully, for them.
Maybe.
So they can have their own.
It's up in the air, I think.
I think the interesting thing is you mentioned, those other ones like Tomb Raider, Nathan Drake with the whole Uncharted. I find that Machine Games has mostly made first-person shooters with the Wolfenstein franchise.
Right.
So it's interesting. Are they going to do first-person with Indy? You also mentioned Harrison Ford. I'm fairly confident Harrison Ford will not be contributing to this. If he was,
likeness, though.
But what's the use of looking like Harrison Ford if you don't sound like Harrison Ford?
Oh.
Right.
I mean, they can get that guy from Solo.
He doesn't sound like Harrison Ford.
Fair enough.
He tried. He tried. So yeah, if they got the actual Harrison Ford to do the voice acting and all that stuff too, I may be more interested, just because he's just wonderful to listen to. Put out dialogue. Besides that, not much interest. And if it is a first person, doubly no interest.
I would say this. I'm going to try to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because, I would say the same thing. Like, man, a first-person developer, I don't trust them to make the kind of game that this game should be. But you look at someone like Guerrilla Games, who made the Killzone games for so long. And then they moved over to Horizon, and that game was loved. So if Machine Games can even do a little bit of that, it's going to be a really good game.
Right? Again, only problem is Indiana Jones, an existing IP. Guerrilla Games was smart to create their own character. Machine Games has to. They got a task here. News item number 5: NVIDIA. They announced the RTX 3060 for $329.99. Now, David, you have a 2060, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any interest in the 3060?
Honestly, not really. I mean, I think the price is decent, but I have a weird thinking process. It's like if I'm saving up to buy a graphics card, if this is $329, I'm rather just save up the rest, an extra $200, and just get the 3080. Like if you're spending that much money, just save a little bit more and just spend that much more and get a better card that'll last you a longer, I would think.
Now, is that the $500 one? Is that the 3080 or is it the 3070?
I think Well,
I
either
think
way,
the-
whichever one's the 3080, if that one is 600, 500, I would just save and get that one.
I think that one's 750. The
Yeah,
3080.
Still, I'd still just save and just get that.
Right.
Yeah. Corey, what about you?
I actually did a little bit of research on this. It seems like it's going to not outclass the current gen systems, but it's going to be right up there. You know, the things they were showing with ray tracing, 60 frames on a lot of the high-powered games, and obviously, really good graphics. So it seems like a good price if you're looking to upgrade your PC. If you're looking to build your PC with this in it, though, you start to get a little pricey. Because this is already 320, and everything else you need to get would kind of push you over the edge. Where, hey, you can just get a PlayStation 5 for the amount you're spending. But if you're looking just to upgrade, I think this is a nice little upgrade.
So are you looking to upgrade?
No. No, I'm the Nintendo guy.
And you're also very content with the, I believe, 1050 in your PC?
I have no clue.
Okay.
He's using the wrong port anyways.
It can't run Return to Tarkov, I know that, or Escape from Tarkov, and they would not give me a refund. Not happy.
Well, you know what? Exactly. Don't you wish you had the Poland Office of Competition and Consumer Protection?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Exactly.
I wish it was on Steam so I could have returned it within 2 hours, but they made you download their own launcher.
Right. Very smart.
It's so annoying. That is so
Jeremy,
annoying.
what about you? You're a PC guy. We got to hear your opinion on this one.
Yeah, I'm with David. I'd rather save up the extra 100, 200, get the 3070, or the extra 300, 400, get the 3080, and just deal with it that way. Whether I'm upgrading or building, I'm gonna have to build a new rig this year to replace my other big rig. So, it's cool though.
So who's this card for?
I think this card is for people who want really high level 1080p gaming or a really good experience 1440p gaming. I think if you're someone that wants to jump in the building, a brand new gaming rig, and you've got maybe a $600, $650, $700 budget, this is a good card to pick up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because
I agree.
It's retailing for $329. I think that's the Founders Edition, which means the partner cards will end up being a little bit cheaper, maybe $319, $309, something like that. So you'll be able to find it for around $300, maybe on like really big sales, less than $300. I think it's a pretty decent card to pick up then.
Okay.
Yeah. News item number 6. GameExplain has been hit with crunch allegations. Corey, this was a story you found particularly interesting. So take the lead on this. What exactly is going on?
All right. So for anyone who doesn't know what GameExplain is, they're a YouTube channel who does like in-depth analysis of like trailers. They also put out reviews. They're mostly like a Nintendo site, but they put in like very deep analysis. A 1-minute trailer might get broken down into like a 2-hour video, just pinpointing everything that you see in the background and stuff. So recently, 3 of the people that were on the show, not the creator of it, but they had left the channel. And kind of going through like chats and stuff, they were talking, and the reason they left the channel was because of crunch. Now, one of the persons who was in there, Bowling, he said he got paid $550 a month, regardless of the amount of content he put out. And one of the things that happened to him was when he had to review Final Fantasy VII Remake, Square Enix gave him the code 2 days before, but he was on a deadline. So he worked 48 hours straight to make this review without stopping. His wife said that she took care of the children. She cooked the dinner, did everything. And he ended up actually getting paid about $1 or $2 an hour to do this review, which, I wanted to bring this up because a lot of times I'm like, you know what, crunch is just overtime, which, in certain circumstances, sure, I still believe that. But this is 100% unacceptable. To work like that for that little amount of money under that kind of pressure, now that's something that cannot be had in the video game industry or in like this reviewer YouTube, type of scenario.
Right. I was going to say this is more like in the games media type of field than the game develop. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah, that's terrible. They shouldn't make anyone do anything nearly like that. And yeah, I believe, I'm sure that those 28 or 48 hours, however much longer it's been since then, had a bunch of wrecking it did to his mental health in that regard. Being under that much stress, that little time.
Right. I should say the creator of the channel, Andre Seeger, said, I was quite upset to hear these experiences because I consider them true friends, and I hate that they felt subjected in any way to unfair compensation or unrealistic deadlines. So he feels bad. I feel like he probably could have put a stop to it. But yeah, this crunch, totally unacceptable. You know, like I said, I've been kind of like not for crunch, but hey, it's overtime. But no, some things are way over the line.
Right. So is this like a publication that has a YouTube channel, or is this like a YouTube channel that this is their own content? This is their stuff.
GameExplain?
Yeah.
This is their YouTube channel.
Got you. Okay. I mean, it seems like if you're the creator and they're your friends, it seems like you have a little bit of control over how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's unfortunate. News item number 7. Hogwarts Legacy. Now, guys, I don't know if you know, but Hogwarts is part of Harry Potter.
What?
It's true. It's been delayed till 2022 or next year. Guys, wasn't this game just announced not that long ago or shown or revealed? And and we're doing another thing of it's a Halo Infinite, right? It's a, hey, let me show you this. It's going to come out oh, no, wait a minute. It's going to be over a year from now.
What's annoying. Hey, gaming companies, can you please just give us a realistic date from the get-go so we don't have to deal with this anymore? You know, we had this with The Last of Us 2, the Halos, now this, Cyberpunk over and over again. Probably going to be more games this year. Stop.
Yeah, I mean,
just like I was actually excited for this. Like I would have went and got a PS5 to play this game. Now I can wait. I'll spend less money on a PS5 and maybe this game.
Right.
It's I don't know. I'm old. Okay.
Yeah.
So, delays, if it's a game you're looking forward to, you're always disappointed. I was really looking forward to this game. I really wanted to play a really good Harry Potter game. But at the end of the day, I'm okay with it being delayed every single time if it makes for a better game. And hopefully that's what they're doing with the time. They're making a better game. So I don't care. I want it out, but I want it out at the best possible quality it can be.
I concur with that statement wholeheartedly. But what I said also goes. Yes. Okay.
That's fair. That's fair too.
I think it's kind of like a thing where you would maybe hope that they would say, hey, this game is coming out in 2023. And then after a while they say, oh, development's been going great, even if it hasn't. But because they gave themselves, I don't know, a year window. A window. They're like, oh, it's actually coming out this year. And then people would be like super pumped, right? That's like one of the things that made people so beloved with Bethesda, that Bethesda will announce Fallout 4 and then launch it 4 months later. And you're like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Now, again, the other side of that is Bethesda games are always janked. So they can do that. But, it's the same thing. I'm usually always not going to be upset with delaying a game. It's a matter of, okay, it's like you're trying to create the buzz now. You're trying to sell it like it's almost right here. And then you're kind of pulling the rug. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But, news item number 8. Razer unveils their Project Hazel Smart N95 RGB masks. Have you guys seen these things?
I did.
They look like alien technology,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
And the biggest things a lot of people have problems with this mask is like it's constricting, like it's like on your face, and like these things are like they have space,
Yeah.
Which is great. You can sit there and talk and it not just rub on your face and stuff like that. Like I've seen some people they have mask knee and the whole not breathe thing, because it's gonna have like a filter system and whatever. I think this is a good idea, but I think they're gonna be like $100 or something, aren't they? I don't know, but I think they're gonna be too pricey for me to even think about getting one.
But you've seen them though.
Yes.
Okay.
They look awesome.
They look awesome.
But, that's overindulgence.
Okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing I will say. I believe that the Rona is here to stay in some capacity. So mask wearing may become more of an accessory.
Mm.
And people buy $100 wallets, $100 purses.
Yep, which blows my mind. By
all
the way.
the time. So if you've got a nice, super looking mask that lights up with a filtration system that makes you look like a space marine,
You're
it
going to
may
be
not
the
be that
belle
bad.
of the ball.
Yeah, you know what? Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. And it's I think it's right on brand that Razer, the PC gaming accessory company, is the one that came up with this. News item number 9 is glorious news. EA has lost their exclusivity of the Star Wars license by nature of Ubisoft announcing they are making a Star Wars video game. I can think of a bunch of other licenses that should no longer be exclusive to EA, but I will take this one. Guys, what do you think about them losing that exclusivity? And then if you did you read anything about the new game that Ubisoft is making? What are your impressions on that?
I was gonna say I have 2 questions. One, do we know why they lost the exclusivity?
Because they're EA. Because they're EA.
Okay, and 2,
just because they lucked into Fallen Order and Squadrons doesn't make up for the fact that, you know, Star Wars and Disney almost lost their anus on how bad the Battlefront 2 reaction was with everything. And how that probably messed up the movies.
That's what lost it for them.
Yeah.
And I was just say the game that Ubisoft is making, is it like a completely different kind of game?
It's an open world. It's a Ubisoft game.
It's an Ubisoft game.
So it's Assassin's Creed, but Star Wars?
Yeah, or Far Cry 6, but Star Wars. We don't know yet. But it's going to be an open world Ubisoft game, which EA's not good. Ubisoft is, I guess, a little better, but it's nice to know that it's open to other companies. Like, yeah, the Ubisoft game might be a little generic, but hopefully the next company that gets it really puts their passion into Star Wars. Jeremy, you got to be ecstatic, right? Big Star Wars fan. You got the Bobby Fett helmet for Christmas or something?
Wow, Boba Fett. And no,
you're not excited.
I'm not excited because I go from EA, who makes terrible games, to Ubisoft, who makes boring games. So, all right, my Star Wars goes from being bad to boring. You know, there's at least I have some confidence at least that EA put Star Wars finally with the right developers, right? With Respawn doing Fallen Order and everything like that. I don't know, who is Ubisoft going to put the Star Wars? Are they going to put them with the venerable people that make Far Cry? No. The venerable people that make Assassin's Creed? No. Oh, that other venerable team that makes Watch Dogs? Like what team do they have there? You know what I didn't think of? I didn't think of the team that makes The Crew. Maybe they give Star Wars to the team that made The Crew.
Pod Racers.
Exactly.
All right, 2 things I have for you real quick.
Yeah.
Now, you don't think this stops EA from making future Star Wars games, right?
No.
It's still got to go through Disney, but they can make Jedi Fallen Order 2 most likely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and my next question is for you. What company would you like to see have it? Do you have one in mind?
What I was going to ask, yeah. Like, if anybody could do it, who would you want to do it?
I mean, we're talking Platinum Games, right?
No.
We're not a little anime, Star Wars, great action.
We're not talking Platinum Games.
Wow.
We're not.
Wow.
Skywalker, I am your father. Ooh woo.
No.
Well, what is that?
Really, really interesting. You know, from a gameplay standpoint or from a storytelling standpoint.
Just what company
Isn't that one of
do you
the
want
same?
to make the game?
It's not the same because here's the thing. Okay, I'll go storytelling. And I'll talk about, even though I just played one of their games and I couldn't stand the storytelling in it, but it was at least different. I wouldn't mind seeing Remedy do something with Star Wars because they have a different, unique approach to storytelling that I think is very much missing in the Star Wars universe, right? A lot of people like the Rogue One Star Wars, right? And that's because it had a different look and feel to what people usually get with Star Wars. I believe Remedy would do that from a narrative standpoint with the game.
Yeah, Remedy would be good.
Yeah.
Great third-person action developer. So, David, you have one in mind?
Not really. I don't.
Okay.
What about you,
I
Corey?
watched the original like 3
I already
movies.
told you.
You said who?
Platinum Games.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
you were asking
were
him in a
joking,
facetious
though.
way.
Yeah.
No, you get no. I was dead serious. Like you get a Platinum Games where you're a Jedi and you're jumping around and doing acrobatics and you have these quick dodges and these quick deflects and you're just having this awesome lightsaber Jedi dude fighting. Like it's Platinum Games, man. I love them. You give them Star Wars.
Okay. I mean, look, Transformers Devastation, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Transformers was pretty good.
It was okay.
Yeah. And that was their B team.
TMNT was pretty bad.
It was trash. They have an A team, which does good work, and they have a B team, which does trash work. All right. So give it to the A team.
Okay. All right. You know what? People, let us know. If, for one, let us know. We have a two-part question. A, do you care about Star Wars at all? B, what developer would you like to see work on a Star Wars game? You know what I'm surprised none of us said? BioWare. News item number 10.
It's over for them.
Shot.
There was the Resident Evil RE showcase that happened, and they showed some news there about the upcoming Resident Evils. Now, I didn't have the fortune of being able to see it, but I know you guys delved into it a little bit. Yes. So tell us, what was in the showcase?
All right, so they showed the release date. It's May. What was it, the 9th?
21st?
No, it wasn't that.
Or is that the year? That's the year.
Yeah, it's early May, like a single digit day. And they showed it's coming with another game, RE Versus. That was the name of it, right?
Yep. Reverse. RE-verse.
RE-verse, yeah. So that looked pretty cool. It has like all of like main characters. It has the Jill and Leon, Claire, Nemesis, Jack from 7. It looks like it's a PvP shooter, which is cool. But I mean, in the game, it's the village itself. They showed some gameplay. They showed that PS5 is getting a demo starting today. You can start pre-orders now. There's different tiers of the ordering, of course. You know, there's collection edition. There's just digital edition, stuff like that. So but I liked what they showed. You know, it showed a little bit of the story. What about you, Cory?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit everything, but I actually did play the demo already.
I
downloaded it, played it. Very atmospheric. I was terrified the whole time. I don't do well with first-person horror games so much, so it really set the tone. There was no combat in it. It was a pretty short one, about 20 minutes, but man, the interior in those games, like the actual castle, looked gorgeous. The level of detail on everything, the lighting, like it's a really good-looking game already, and it's still got time to get cleaned up. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for RE-verse. RE8, I don't know if I'll be able to really play it. Like I said, a little too frightening for me, so we'll see.
That's right. I'll do it. We'll be all right.
That's all you, David. That's all you.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, that is it for our morning announcements. We're going to move on to our next segment, the roundtable, when we discuss a singular topic or something we want to have a discussion about, a debate. And a while ago, we all had mentioned, the best game worlds or the game worlds we would want to live in, right? And just mentioning RE, one of David's was RE, which is just a crazy person there, right?
I need help.
Agreed. and so now we're going to change it up, right? We're so positive with that. Now we're going to go a little negativo with it, a little negative, and talk about what we believe to be the worst game worlds to live in. And we're each going to have about 2 or 3 of them that we're going to talk about here. Now, who would like to begin this segment? As I still am just amazed thinking about how David said he wanted to live in
I'll,
the Resident Evil game.
I'll go first.
All right, what's your first one?
Because this one's the easiest one. This is the one you do not want to live in more than any other game world because it's just a devastating world. It is the universe of Fallout. Fallout is such a terrible world to live in. You wake up after being iced for like, what, 100 years, 200 years, whatever it is, and you leave your bunker and it's just wasteland. Everything is destroyed. Everything is radioactive. The bugs are giant. There's raiders everywhere. There's death claws. Like, you can't eat food because it poisons you. You can't drink water. Everything's junky. Like, it's just the absolute worst world to live in. I wouldn't want to get caught dead in that world. It's horrible. Downright horrible.
I agree.
It's a good one.
Yeah. All right, David, you're next up.
All right.
What's your first
So
one?
this will ensure you're thinking of I need help. Now, I've thought about it, and I would not want to live in the Mario universe.
Unbelievable.
Oh.
Because I don't want to deal with all these, bad guys randomly showing up, whatever. Like, how many cities and whatever have we seen being taken over and ravaged by Bowser and all these minions and whatever, Like,
not a lot.
What do you? Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Okay, Mario
hold on.
Odyssey. There's like 10 different worlds, but all
To
these
be
bad
fair,
guys all over.
every Mario has
And then,
at least
like,
8 worlds.
Yeah, Mario Sunshine. All the cities in that one. I can go on and on about every Mario game. I wouldn't. I don't want to be there. It's too much.
But Resident Evil is fine.
Yeah, that's all. Shiesty.
This guy is a wackadoo.
And I could be part of the problem in that one.
This guy is insane.
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you've been wondering 30, 40 levels into this podcast, is Cory maybe the crazy one, which I think in many ways he makes obvious, or is Jeremy possibly the crazy one? No, you've been wrong on all the fronts because it's that guy that just spoke. It is David. He is going around ravaging, doing crazy things, just attacking people on TikTok mercilessly. And all these other things, this guy wants to be in the world of zombies, and he hates Yoshi. That is this guy right here. It's ridiculous.
Okay, hold on. First off, any game I could play as Yoshi, I play as Yoshi.
Okay.
How dare you? But yes, I don't want to live in Mario's world.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well,
what about you?
Right,
what's your sane answer?
Yeah, my sane answer is easy. The game world I wouldn't want to live in is The Last of Us. It's depressing. You can't trust anyone. There are zombies that grow trees and mushrooms out of their head, and they click for sound. And they use echolocation. You want to talk about something? You want to talk about what's scary? Zombies that act like dolphins. That's terrifying for me. And that's what that game has. Okay. So it's dreary, you can't really, you're not sure. Everything's contaminated in some way or another. You have to scramble for every single piece of resources you can get, and there's just barbaric people around there. I couldn't. It'd be a terrible game world to live in. That's the first one for me.
What's funny is my debate in my head was if I wanted to say Resident Evil or The Last of Us for the ones to live in.
This guy's a nut job.
Yes, he is.
Okay,
right,
so my second one. Now, if you've been listening to the Thoughts and Players podcast, you know that we're usually really united on all fronts. We really have each other's back on all takes. But I'm here to rectify a mistake.
What are
David,
you talking about?
You're a moron. Resident Evil would be the worst world to live in. It's absolute madness that you would pick it. I couldn't let it stand. All right.
It is madness.
No. The only reason
I disagreed with you, and you said
the only people that live in Resident Evil are like these buff cops, which you're not, unfortunately. I'm not either. Or these mad scientists. And
you don't know what I got under this shirt.
Even those guys turn into like zombies or tyrants. Like, it's a crazy world. And guess what? Even if you're holed up in your house, the government nukes your town. Like that.
Cory,
that's a thing that happened.
Cory,
Like,
not only is there a thing out there,
government.
not only is there a zombie apocalypse with a virus and everything like that, it's all helmed and controlled by a corporation.
Right. They're going to take over the world. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to Spain.
But that's the thing.
Guess what?
There's guys are all thinking about like the whole universe. Like, what if I was one of the doctors working for an umbrella? You know,
David, you're not.
But right now,
what if Jeremy was Luigi? No, he would be Jeremy. Resident Evil is just, it's psychotic. You can't live there, no matter what. That's it. You're done. You can't.
Cory, that was a very sane, logical selection.
Ada Wong, just popping out of places.
You would be the truck driver at the opening of Resident Evil 2.
Not even. You underestimate me.
Nobody lives, David. Nobody.
Underestimate
what you mean by living.
Underestimate your sanity. That's what you're saying.
Go on, David. Hit us with your next one.
What is your next one? Let's hear this one.
So despite not playing it, so I might not know everything, but I know the basis, and I wouldn't want to live in Skyrim.
Okay,
because, dealing with the people coming in and everything, like the main guy, and I don't know. It's just, I'm a fan of medieval times, but I'm also, I am not a fan of like actually living it. It's nice to look at, but not be in.
Okay.
And then like add on to the like dragons or whatever. Nope.
Right.
I could run away from a zombie. All right. I can't run away from a dragon.
I can kind of see your point. Skyrim, it's dirty. You really don't have like indoor plumbing, I don't think. But like it also has magic, which is like really cool.
Right.
And like the common folk can learn. The common folk can learn the magic.
And there's actual civilization in Skyrim. Like there's actual full-on civilization. It's not hordes of things running around. Right? There's civilization there. They have walls. They have water, like drinking water you can just get. They have bathrooms, right? You can cook a duck in Skyrim.
If you can catch
good luck cooking a duck in Resident Evil Land.
Raccoon City.
Yeah. But okay, that's fine. my second game world that I wouldn't want to live in may be surprising, may not be surprising, I don't know. That game world is the Grand Theft Auto world.
Mm.
Because anybody at any time can just murder you. And I understand you're like, well, that sounds like real life. Yes, to some extent. But it happens much more liberally and much more frequently, I would say, in the world of a Grand Theft Auto than it would in regular life. We have order most of the time in the real world. But a bunch of other things, how you can easily just walk outside and there's just mayhem that can happen at the spur of a moment. Everyone's corrupt. Absolutely everyone is corrupt or corruptible. It'd be a terrible, terrible game world to live in. You couldn't trust anyone.
Agreed. It's kind of like this world. And like the thing is, I don't think really a lot of us want to live in this current world right now either. We want it to be better. Like this world sucks. So Grand Theft Auto is a heightened version of our world where everything is much worse. So yeah, I 100% get that.
GTA is a world that we could be living in, given a few years. So we have to make sure we don't go that route.
Right.
We should like head towards, Resident Evil.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
All right, I got a third one. You guys got a third one, right?
I got a third one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I picked this world because, like, before this world went crumbling, it would be a world that I would definitely want to live in, and that would be Rapture from BioShock. Now, Rapture, before everything went down, it had this beautiful art style. It had Art Deco. It had neon lights. It was a world where you could do anything. There was no rules in terms of how scientists were able to perform experiments. You could evolutionize the human body and take yourself to places you haven't been. Now, that's a great thought, but in reality, what happened is the entire just thing crashed. When you go down in that game in Rapture, it is a total mess. People have gone crazy from these experiments. There are these things called little sisters, which are little girls that scamper around, and they're very creepy looking, and they're protected by these scuba diving big daddies. And the world is terrifying. And I think the saddest part is you see what it could have been and what it's not. I don't want to live that life. So just take me out of it.
Gotcha.
I know you guys haven't played the game, but you really should. It's a
I'm
masterpiece.
familiar enough with it, and I completely understand that.
I believe you.
Yeah.
All right. So this might, I'm gonna bring something back. It's been a while. I wouldn't want to live in a world of Dino Crisis. All the dinosaurs everywhere and everything like that.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Right.
Because they could be freaking huge. Like, I get it. Resident Evil has zombies and mutants, but like the mutants are not as big as the T-Rex.
So what I find interesting is that you don't mind living in a world where human-sized things want to eat you. You just mind living in the world in which larger things want to eat you.
Yeah, size is everything.
Okay.
And made by the same company.
I don't know.
Capcom?
They're pretty
Dino
much like
Crisis
the
is
same
Capcom,
game.
isn't it? It's not the same
Well,
game.
It's not quite, Corey, because dinosaurs are larger than zombies.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was mistaken. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go on, Jeremy.
Guys, you guys just hate me. It's okay. Listen, I get it. I'm a fanboy. All right? I don't care.
And I just, it's not that. We're just concerned about you. That's all.
I would be too. I appreciate it.
You got it.
This episode sponsored by Capcom. Buy their games.
They make pretty good games.
They do make good games.
Most of the time.
And let's see here. My last game that I wouldn't want to live in, game world I wouldn't want to live in. I was thinking along the lines of possibly something dinosauric, because dinosaurs would actually be terrifying in the real world. But I'm not going to go there. The game I'm going to pick is the Shadow Warrior game world. And that's because in that game, demons and aliens transport to the world. And that just sounds scary in and of itself. If you want to say, oh, well, that sounds kind of a little bit like the beginning of Mortal Kombat, you are correct. That would also be another world I wouldn't want to live in. But it's terrifying. And the most terrifying thing about it would be, unlike something like a Mortal Kombat, where you have all these great fighters and heroes to protect the world, Shadow Warrior, you have to rely on a crazy Asian dude named Lo Wang. Okay? It would be terrifying to be having demons zap into your world, and there's nothing worse. A demon's just as bad. There's the only thing that's worse than a demon is a demon that's somehow able to handle a Gatling gun. That's the only thing I can think of that's worse. So Shadow Warrior, definitely not a world I want to live in.
You're
That's
here.
fair.
So those are our worlds that we don't want to live in. You guys let us know. Comment somewhere. What game world would you not want to live in? And also if you have, maybe the phone number to a helpline of which we can give David. Put that in the comment area as well. We can get that information to him. Help him out here.
Oh my God.
We are done with the round table and we are moving on to Quickfire, our brand newly titled segment where we talk about the one or two games we want to talk about the most that we've been playing. So who would like to start off the Quickfire?
Yeah, I'll go real quick.
Okay.
All right, so I got two for you today. I recently purchased Mortal Kombat 11. It was on sale for PS5, so I bought it. And I'm not very good at the Mortal Kombat type fighting games. I'm a little bit better at Smash Bros, but I really enjoy the story of those games. NetherRealm always does a great job of putting really quality cutscenes, and the story is, summer blockbuster, popcorn type thing, real goofy. But I definitely enjoy them. You know, this one deals with time travel, so you got a lot of like the Johnny Cage from the past coming and meeting his, his mature self. And the young Johnny Cage is ridiculous. So if anyone gets a chance, check that one out. And then I'm gonna hit up a VR game. I started playing Rec Room a little bit on my Oculus Quest 2. Now Rec Room is free. It's also on PS4, and you actually don't even need VR for it. But I think it's like more of a user-generated type game, but there's a really fun mode in there called Paintball. And in VR, it is great. It has multiple levels, like 6 different guns, and it's capture the flag. If you shoot someone with the paintball, you get transported back to your level. And if you have VR, it's really quality. Now, I downloaded it on my PS5, and I tried playing without VR. It's total trash. So don't do that. If you have VR, it was very fun. If you don't have VR, don't even download it. Don't even bother. It was trash. So that's my quick fire.
Nice. I can take next. So the 2 games I've been playing, Ghost of Tsushima, finally finished it.
What?
Yes.
Finally finished it.
Jeremy, how do you like it? How did you like it?
A year.
I loved it. I loved it. It took me several months, not a year. and I loved it. It was fantastic from beginning to end.
Good.
You know what? I have a slight criticism. And that criticism is, as the game is progressing towards the end of the game, there were more stealth missions or segments than I would have liked. And it kind of stagnates the momentum or slows it down at times. You feel like you're building up to something, especially when you get past a certain point. You're like, okay, I have all this stuff. Just let me go out there and whoop ass as a samurai. And it still wants you to use some of the ghost things. I understand it, but I feel like they could have did a little bit less than was there.
Yeah, there was a couple like where you had one that involved poison at night, I believe.
Yeah.
It was like really involved. And there was one where you had to sneak back into your own camp for story reasons. That was like, I'm done. I'm done with the stealth.
Yeah.
I enjoy the combat. So,
yeah.
So I got a question. Does this, now that you finished it, would you go back and say this was your game of the year, or did you slot it correctly?
I slotted it correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because my game of the year was Crusader Kings 3, which is the other game I've been playing. And I got some good news, bad news. Good news is that bad news. Let me do bad news first. Bad news is that that game I was telling you guys I was playing with the baby and all that stuff like that.
No.
I ended up starting a new game, so I didn't play that game. Okay.
You got the best of you.
But the good news is that I started a new game, put a bunch of time into that, and I've been knocking out babies left and right. so that's
you're making up for lost time.
I am making up for lost time with a vengeance. I tell you right now, I've doubled if not tripled my baby count so far. So having an absolute blast. NCK3 just became king of the Akan. Working up from there to be the emperor of the Guinea Empire, moving from there. But it's been absolute blast. So that's what I've been playing. David, what's your quick fires?
My quick fire right now is: do you know how many babies it takes to paint a castle?
If you're painting it with their blood, a lot.
Yeah, it depends on how hard you throw them. Okay, so anyways. I've been playing a lot of Apex.
Very inappropriate. Everyone.
Yikes.
I want to apologize on the behalf of everyone. Yeah.
I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy.
David, I think we really had to have a real conversation about your mental status and your needs, because Jeremy's was obviously a joke.
I need a good nap.
You take it way too far.
I am telling you, this guy.
I'm disgusted.
What has happened?
Oh my god. Okay, so the new season of Apex starts early February. I think it's the 2nd. So that's fun. And I've been playing a lot of Super Mario Party with my son. And that I really like I said before, I really like the mini games in that one. And we still haven't unlocked all the characters. I don't really know how to do that. I'm going to look into that. But I mean, it's fun playing games with him because I'm not like in try hard mode, like sitting there playing Apex ranked all day. It's sweaty, just sit back, relax, play with him, have a good time. It really calms me. That's my quick fire.
Nice. All right, everybody. That is our quick fire. Those are some of the games we want to highlight that we have been playing. Let us know what games you have been playing. And that is going to take us to our mid-roll break. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will be back with a very special Was It Worth It?
This level of the Thoughts and Players podcast was made possible by your support. If you're enjoying the podcast, please be sure to like, rate, and share the show, as well as contribute to our community questions and segments. Doing so helps the show grow, keeps our content engaging, and most importantly, makes sure your voice is heard. Thanks for tuning in. And now, back to the show.
And we are back with Thoughts and Players. We are moving on to our favorite segment. Your favorite segment? It is the Was It Worth It? And for this level, we have a game that came out, this past week or so? A nice classic being brought back for us to dive into. And by for us, I mean David and Cory. And so I'll just be leading the discussion on it. But that is Scott Pilgrim. Now, if you guys don't know who or what Scott Pilgrim is, started off as a graphic novel, was then a movie that starred the very venerable, what's his name from Superbad? I just forgot his name.
Cera.
Michael Cera. There we go.
My favorite actor, by the way.
Bro.
And hey, the guy's been in like 5 movies. Granted, they've all been classics, but he's been in 5.
Not much lately.
Not a lot. But it's still great. It's a great movie. I've seen it a few times. It's always up for a watch. And then they created a game. The game came out a while ago, beat 'em up, and it was pretty cool. And then it went away, and you couldn't buy it. And then they brought it back out. And from what I've read, it is the fastest selling game on the Switch as far as physical copies. I think I read that somewhere. So people have been buying it up, enjoying it. These two got to play it, so we're going to talk about it. So, as we talked about, mentioned movie, before that graphic novel. So there's an illustration and a visual aspect to the game. So guys, what would you say, because it's kind of done in an art style, like a cartoon style, so you could kind of put it in the graphics, but I guess the visuals, what would you guys say the visuals of the game has been so far in your experience?
It's good. It's 8-bit.
Okay.
As the little squares and everything like that. It's exactly what you would picture it to be.
Yeah.
And the colors are good. The smoothness of everything is well done. I really like what the game offers visually.
I would say it's 8-bit-esque. It's not 8-bit because 8-bit is like what? You have 8 colors and like a bunch of tiny squares, but it has that retro style of an 8-bit game, except
yes,
a game like this could never be made on the Nintendo. It does look really good, and it takes all its inspiration from the graphic novel. All these characters are straight out the page in the way they look. It's very clean. Everything you can see exactly, the backgrounds. I have a lot of issues with some retro games where everything kind of bleeds into itself because of that pixelation. This one does not have the problem. The graphics are real good. The visuals, with the effects for some of the power moves and stuff are nice. So, yeah, I like the visuals in this game.
Nice. Now, another aspect of Scott Pilgrim is the sound and the music. If you guys saw the movie, some of the music duels that were in the movie and different stuff like that. So it's obviously a large part of the whole identity that is Scott Pilgrim. So how would you guys describe the game sound, as far as sound effects, ambient sound, whatever, and as well as any music that's in the game?
The music I loved, and towards playing games like this, the levels eventually the music repeats, and the music was not annoying to me at all. It went well, and it wasn't obnoxious or too loud or anything. It just kept the flow of the game going. And then as for actual sounds for the game, I didn't notice anything out of ordinary or wrong or bad. So that was well done. But to say what, I don't remember any of the sounds like per se. I wasn't really too focused on them.
Yeah, I would
Sure.
say the music is the star of the show. It's a great soundtrack. It's like chip tune and it sounds amazing. It really gets you through those levels. As far as the soundtrack or the sound effects go, I'm very forgettable. I don't remember any of them. If like even like the connecting does anything, but that's okay because the music is so good that it carries you through.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the story of the game. If there is really a story, or did they kind of just leave that up to its
Source
original
material.
form? Yeah, its source material.
Yeah, the story in this is very minimalist. Like you're just kind of supposed to know what's going on. You know, it's in the title. You know, you're facing the evil X's. So like the only thing you really see story wise is at the end when you go to face a boss. You know, they'll say a quick line or two, and that's it. So story wise, there's not much,
Yeah.
but I think that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I was supposed to go a little longer. It's fine.
It's
It's
kind of like we kind of like discussed with Streets of Rage. Like it's
man.
it does its
yeah,
it's a
job.
beat 'em up.
Streets of Rage even had more story.
I mean, this thing really just lets the levels speak for themselves in terms of story. Like you go through the parts of the level exactly in the same order as the movie. So, and then you fight an X at the end, and then they might show like a literal like 3-second cut scene of Scott staring at Ramona or something like that. That's all there is for story. But you know, if you're buying this game, you're most likely a fan of something Scott Pilgrim in the past, so you know that story.
Yep.
Got you. I will say, as we get to gameplay, right, Corey, you say all of that as I'm taking a sip of water, right?
Right.
Thank you. So now we'll move on to the last part, which is gameplay. So you guys have been talking about it's a beat 'em up. You're going around and you're beating them up. How's the gameplay? How does this thing feel to play?
It's actually kind of hard because on PC, you know, you use the ASWD, of course, but you don't use your mouse or arrows or anything like that. You have to use JIOPKL and U. Like it's really confusing, and I kind of got the hang of it. But like you do like combos and stuff. It's weird.
Does it not have that you can't do any key binding?
I mean, I guess you can. I didn't really feel like switching stuff.
Ah,
I don't know. I didn't really know what would feel comfortable anyways.
yeah.
I'm weird like that. I don't know. But besides that, I mean, it being a beat 'em up, it is kind of, you know, straightforward. Just run around and hit people. So also another thing I did want to mention. Okay, so we've mentioned like Streets of Rage before. My son, who's just turned 5, he beat Streets of Rage 4 on easy mode. Okay, this game I'm on the easiest mode, and it took me 5 times to even get past level 2. Like this game is so much more difficult. It is absurd. I guess I have to learn to block and counterattack, I guess. I don't know. And I didn't learn until I was stuck on level 3 for like 2 days that you can power up your people with stats from like you can go inside these stores within the levels and buy items and food or whatever, and it boosts up your strength and attack and stuff like that. So that helped. That's what helped me beat level 3. But just the difficulty of this game is really high if you really don't know what you're doing. I'd have a friend had to tell me the whole shop thing.
Now,
how do you feel, Corey? Oh,
just,
okay, you got a question.
Just a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, so did you beat Streets of Rage 4 with your son?
No,
he still hasn't beat it.
I'm still on level 6.
So your son beat Streets of Rage before you?
Yes.
And he started after you, or he started way before?
No, he started way after.
Oh, okay.
But he also put more time into it.
Corey, you were saying?
Oh yeah, so Scott Pilgrim vs. World, the game. Now for gameplay, I got to give kudos to like all like the Easter eggs or throwbacks to other games. Like the main map is straight out of like Mario 3, you know, where you're going around and moving around the map. And even like the character select screen, that's Mario 2. And it's cool to see like these references to video games. And I'm sure there's a ton more throughout. But like David said, the gameplay is rather difficult. They've made kind of a curious choice to where like your level ups don't affect your stats at all. They give you new moves.
Yeah, I thought that was so weird.
You start off. Yeah, you start off.
That's why I didn't know I
basic.
had to buy stuff. I thought it just leveled you up.
Yeah, I really didn't know either. You start off extremely basic with, you know, a light punch, a heavy punch, and like a dash and a kick or something. And as you level up, you unlock new moves. And some of the moves are pretty good. Some of the moves are kind of seem pointless. But the only way to get stronger and actually kind of get through the game is to buy these items that increase your stats. And you do that by collecting money by defeating enemies. And it's also kind of a curious design choice to where like you've got to go to the shops that are in the middle of the level to buy these things. So if you collect a bunch of money and you beat the level, you actually got to go back into the level, you know, and go through a little bit of it to get to this shop. And the actual items don't even tell you what they do until after you buy them. So that's really confusing to me. I did not like that. The actual gameplay is okay. I played, I think, every character a little bit. They all feel mostly the same, which is a little disappointing, especially since we've gone through Streets of Rage 4 and Battletoads, where in Streets of Rage, they had different movesets, and in Battletoads, I believe they had like different attributes. You know, one's more powerful, one's quicker. This game seems like every character is the exact same until you buy items. So disappointing with that. One of the big complaints I had about Streets of Rage 4 was the movement. This one's a little quicker, but I don't know. It feels kind of like wooden to me. You know, it's not as sleek as I would like with the movement. It really kind of shows that it's a 10-year-old game. And while I'm having a little more fun with it than I was at the beginning, I think it's old. I think it's a little bit older. And that weighs it down.
So that kind of reminds me of like that Kingdoms of Amalur remake, where even though they're remaking it and they're re-releasing it, it feels its age still.
It can't escape what by definition it is.
Right. Okay. Interesting. So taking all those different things into account, I believe the game is $15, right? $14.99. Yep. Okay. So taking into all those things, the price of it, what would you guys' verdict be? Was it worth it, in your opinion?
Honestly, if you're not a fan of Scott Pilgrim, I wouldn't get it. Myself, I bought the KO edition. You know, that was $170. It comes with a bunch of extra stuff, but it's my favorite movie. I loved everything that's coming with it. You know, it was definitely worth me putting the money into it. But yeah, if you're not, unless you really like beat 'em ups, if you like beat 'em ups, definitely worth it. But if you're just looking for random games to buy, I wouldn't look at it.
So yeah, it's a good point. It's kind of weird because now this is our third beat 'em up on Was It Worth It? And I don't think beat 'em ups are such a popular genre of game that you can just keep digesting one after the other. You know, like if you're a big RPG fan, hey, even if this RPG is not as good as the previous one, I just love RPGs. Let's play it. Beat 'em ups aren't really like that. They come out every so often. So to have three kind of within a year's span, it's kind of like if this was the first out of the three in terms of Streets of Rage and Battletoads, yeah, okay, hey, it's worth it. I played Streets of Rage 4. That graphic style was beautiful. The combos were awesome. Battletoads, it was frenetic. It was fun. It was fast. This one kind of falls into neither category. It's not as fun as either of those two. And even like something old like Castle Crashers, which recently had a re-release, I think that game's more fun than Scott Pilgrim. So if you played Streets of Rage 4, Battletoads, and Castle Crashers, and you still want to beat them up, and you like Scott Pilgrim, yeah, hey, this game's worth it. If you don't really meet that criteria, though, I think you can pass. For me personally, I don't think it's been worth it, but it's $15. But still, not worth it.
Yeah, so it sounds like in this case you have to be a bigger IP or a bigger lover of the IP than you would the game, even if it's something that you enjoy playing, the type of game you enjoy playing.
Right, definitely. And like I said, I don't know if there's that many people out there that are like, I'm a beat 'em up fan. That's my genre of choice. Like there's no one out there that qualifies for that. So this would be a game like, it's almost like a novelty, like Streets of Rage was. It was almost like a novelty because we haven't seen one in a while.
Right.
Now we've seen it. Now we've seen a couple.
Right. But yeah, it's like the idea of if you enjoy the genre of beat 'em ups, those other options are where you should seek first before this one, unless in addition to the genre you also love Scott Pilgrim. Then,
right, like I said, I named 3 of them, and I know there's River City Girls, which I think has a lot of good like publicity out on the PS4, and I know there's more beat 'em ups. I'm not a big beat 'em up fan, but I like to play some of them. But I'm guessing this is one of the lower tier ones. The soundtrack really saves it. The graphics look nice, but I think you can pass.
Gotcha. Okay, that is our Was It Worth It for Scott Pilgrim. Guys, let us know. You think it's worth it? Not worth it? Were you interested in the game ever? And has any of these opinions here changed or not changed yours? We will move on to the next segment, which is called The Final Things Club.
Oh.
I know.
Pinky's out.
I know. And in the Finer Things Club, from what I remember, because I understand that it's on our show outline and we planned on doing this, and I just realized that I don't remember what this segment's actually about. But from what I think I remember, in this segment, we talk about small little details in games, the finer things in these games that we enjoy and appreciate. Do I have that right, gentlemen?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. That was that.
I think David forgot too.
Yeah, we talked before the recording started, and I had an idea, and now I completely forgot. So I'm trying to remember what it was.
All right, so I'll go first.
Yes,
Cool.
please.
Cool.
I don't know if mine's a small detail, but it's a thing that I think deserves to be in the Finer Things Club. And this is brought to you by Blizzard. Now, back in the day of Diablo, there was a major rumor going on that there was a cow level. And, it's like an internet thing where people start something up and it's funny. They look for it. People waste their time trying to figure out ways to get to this. There was no cow level in Diablo 1. So what does Blizzard do? They put a cow level in Diablo 2. You got to beat the game. You got to get some of these artifacts. You got to get these box that like transmutes these items to make a portal. And inside is just one of the most glorious levels in all of game. You go through this portal and there's just standing cows with big spears. And they're hard to beat. And there's like 100 of them. And it's such a, like I said, maybe not a finer detail or a finer thing, but it's such a nice detail that I wanted to put it in here because it was one of the coolest things, especially finding it and not really knowing about it. Because when Diablo 2 came out, that was a little bit of the earlier days of the internet. There's not videos popping up at the day of like, hey, check out this secret. So I thought it was a really nice thing that Blizzard did. They continued it in Diablo 3, but with a little bit of a different take. Not as cool, but Diablo 2, Finer Things Club attendee.
Okay. Now, I enjoy that as a very interesting story. However,
Not fit
no, it does. It does. But
okay.
However, it might infringe on mine because I had something somewhat similar.
Really?
I did.
Let's hear it.
And this is Grand Theft Auto. I don't know if you remember, and it started in San Andreas, and then it went through and it came back in Grand Theft Auto 5 about Sasquatch.
Yes.
So there was a rumor that in the woods, out there in the outskirts in the rural area outside of Los Santos, that there was evidence that Bigfoot, that Sasquatch was there. And players were looking for it. They couldn't find it. And Rockstar didn't say anything about it. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. They gave even more clues that there's possibly a Sasquatch and whatever out there. Players kept looking, and then eventually, I believe they hinted at a specific location in the game, and gamers went there, and lo and behold, they were able to find the Squatch. And so much so that the Squatch became a playable thing in the game. like an actual playable model. Like you could be Sasquatch, because I remember seeing footage of people bicycling as Sasquatch in GTA 5 somewhere. So it's a really cool thing to kind of have this whole little mystique set up, and the game developer, instead of being like, well, no, that's stupid, or that's not part of our vision, they say, oh, you know what, we can add this to the game. It can become this part of our identity, and we can pay homage to the community that helps supports our games. So
yeah, you're absolutely right, and that is a lot like the one I just said. So hey, kudos to you, Jeremy. And like you said, the developers like giving that shout out to their fans. Like, hey, this wasn't a real thing. Now we put it in.
yeah.
Okay, well, mine's nothing like that, so I'm the oddball yet again. But mine doesn't pertain to a certain game, but I really enjoy some soundtracks of some games. Like, people put their heart and soul into these, and like, okay, you just really have to make a soundtrack that just kind of goes with the game, makes it flow well. But like, some of the music that they put in these games is just astounding. Like, I could literally listen to the Last of Us soundtrack just because it was so good. Like, I would sit there on the start menu just listening to the music. And then, like we just said earlier about the Scott Pilgrim game, like that was one of the saviors of the game, was just the music itself. So I just really appreciate how far and how dedicated the musicians are for the gaming community, because not everybody looks at that aspect of gaming. Everyone's really focused on graphics and the story and the gameplay. I think sometimes the musicians are not thought of as much, but I just want to say thank you for doing your hardest work. It really shows.
Right.
Welcome to the Finer Things Club, musicians.
That's there's, that reminds me of, I mean, there's tons of games with tons of great music, but one that I can't remember the exact song title. I don't know if it's, I'm trying to think of what it was, but I can't remember. I don't know if it's in Destiny 2. And it's not long after the beginning of it, when you're able to survive the fall, and you're getting back, and you're going out towards the outskirts of Earth, and there's like this beautiful orchestral music that plays. It's called either Lost Light, or it's one of those, Lost Light, Rise might be one of those. But it's just this beautiful, inspiring music. And it's almost like it plays to a point where almost it takes priority over what's happening on screen. You're like, wow, this music is so beautiful, but it enhances the mood. So that's absolutely a finer thing, is music and soundtracks. Pivotal.
The biggest one would probably be the Halo thing that people always hum.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that is one of the biggest ones.
One of my favorites, and David, you know this one, is To Xanarkin in Final Fantasy X. Like that main theme is just one of the most beautiful pieces of music
I've also listened to that song just because I'm like, you know what, I want to go listen to this.
It's a great song.
Great piece.
Yeah. This is something, speaking of, we have every Tuesday, Cory posts his favorite little soundtrack clip from different games, right?
That's right.
What was the one you posted this past Tuesday?
From Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
Isn't that the song that we looked at for what we wanted to kind of for our songs?
Yeah, I was looking up like the best like sound music in games, and that popped up, and I tried to make it like our show theme, and I was denied by our boss, JB. He's terrible. Anyways, I decided to bring it back, and it's a banger of a song. It's good. It's great. Yeah.
I was going to say that. Yeah, he has Silver Surfer, so he has that he's posted. You guys can actually look at that. I think on our TikTok, one of our latest TikToks is a meme of a cat jamming to the theme music for the first level of Golden Axe. It's a banger. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we are very much appreciators of music here. Perfect selection, David, for the Finer Things Club. Perfect selection.
Thank you. I'm not that insane.
You're not. Well, you got that one right. we're gonna move on to our next segment, which is Good Vibes Only. And
I liked that.
Thank you. This is a new segment. We've discussed and talked about, mostly the guys have been talking about to me, Jeremy, we're doing the podcast, and there's a lot of times where you just kind of really bring us down. And we need a little bit of an upper. We need a lifter. We need some, you keep bringing us, you keep depressing us. Your alcohol, we need a little bit of speed. So this is some speed that we're injecting right into our veins and your ears. Okay.
That's the
And
best way to do it.
in this segment, Good Vibes Only, we each talk about a certain story or personality or something game related. That's a good vibe. That's just a good, nice story. So who would like to offer their good vibes only first? I could offer mine first.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my good vibes only, I am heading back to the land of Japan, back to the island of Tsushima. Because what happened is that there's been a story about how Ghost of Tsushima players helped raise over $250,000 to restore the island's real life shrine. Now, in order to get to the shrines in the game, the shrines in the area, the little markers that indicate them are called Torii gates. And so what happened is that in September of last year, a typhoon hit Tsushima and it destroyed one of the Torii gates situated at a shrine. And one of the shrine's priests, his name is, and I'm going to try to pronounce this as respectfully if I can, is Yuchi Hirayama. He launched a crowdfunding page aimed at raising about 5 million yen, 47,500 American dollars, to rebuild the Torii Gate at Watatsuma Shrine. And people saw it, and especially the players, and they were like, well, we just spent however many hours of our life helping this place, helping defend the people and the culture of this place. So of course we'll give. So overall, about 2,000 people donated more than 27 million yen, or around $260,000, to help repair this Torii Gate, which is over 500% more than the original goal. They're expecting to rebuild the gate beginning in April and to complete it in August, with all things being accounted for with the COVID-19 and all that stuff going on. This is one of the few stories. You may not have heard a lot about this because most of the time they want to talk about toxic gamer community, toxic things. And there's tons of toxicity within gaming. But there is also instances like this where people who play a game and through that game are able to connect and appreciate a different culture, are then able to extend and show how much they care and appreciate that culture when they are in need of things. I think this is awesome. I think everyone who offered to this is absolutely awesome. I have to check and see if the fundraiser is still open. I don't think it is because they've met their goal already. If I would have known about this, I would have donated to it because it's just an awesome game, and Tsushima is an awesome place with a lot of history behind it. This is why we had this segment, is to highlight the good things. This is absolutely great. These people are definitely playing the hero in their life for Tsushima. They are the real life ghosts. They have been inspired by Jin Sakai. And so that's something that I wanted to highlight. That is my good vibe.
That's a great one.
Great one.
Who would like?
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that. That is awesome.
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Who has their good vibe story for us?
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not a sole instance yet again, but big people that make a lot of money through, Twitch, YouTube, stuff like that. They like to give back to the community, to like the smaller people. So like guys like, Mr. Beast and Pokemon Main, they've donated thousands and thousands of dollars. They made videos of it, donating to smaller streamers. So they go on a random streamer's stream. They're streaming to like 3 people, 1 person, whatever, and then they'll sit there and they'll donate $1,000, and they'll just freak them out. Then they'll donate like 1,000 more, and then these people are like crying and they're so thankful for it. and like it's really changing their lives, because people, they have bills to pay, or trying to put themselves through school, or somebody's a parent trying to get by. And I sure, yeah, that helps them, it makes them look good, whatever, but they're really spending money that they don't have to help all these people. And I think that's great. It's an amazing thing to do, and to just help your community, essentially, because it's all the same thing. It's very wholesome.
Right. And then also helping them too, because perhaps 10, 15 people stay behind and watch that stream, and they're like, oh, I actually like this person, and they start to follow them, or they subscribe to their Twitch channel, and that helps them that way too.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, good one. All right, I guess I will go next because I am last here. All right, so I want to talk about something that actually video games can do for like humans, and it's great. I read out this article, it came out yesterday. Video games can help children battling cancer, study says. And to me, that is like a very heartwarming story. Now, it's kind of a long story, but in regard, it says in the study, 20 children around 11 years old took part in a trial to determine the positive effects of video games on chemo treatment. Doctors compared the clinical records of each child before engaging in like a 2 or 3 hour session. And what they said was the results showed statistical significant changes. On average, the 20 children used 20% less morphine after gaming, didn't ask for as much additional pain medication, and had lower self-reported pain. So to me, gaming, you get a ton of bad vibes. Games, make you violent, they make you lazy. But we never really look at what gaming can do for us as a society and for people. Cancer is one of the worst things that can possibly happen, especially to a kid. Mm-hmm. So to see this and see that gaming can help even a little bit, to me, that's a great story.
It is.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Hopes, I guess, take their mind off of the struggle they're having to go through and what they're experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what the study says. So,
yeah, that's great stuff. Great end to good vibes only. I'll tell you what, people, whether you like this or not, it's staying because I can use some good vibes. I am feeling so good after hearing all these stories about how gaming is having a positive impact in various different ways. But you guys let us know your opinion on it. I don't want to say that your opinion doesn't matter. I don't want to say that. But you guys let us know how you feel about that segment. Good vibes only. Good vibes. But that leads us to our final segment, Final Thoughts. And in Final Thoughts, we each offer one last thought or point that we want to make in regards to something related to this episode or completely unrelated. So, who would like to give their final thought first?
I'll go. I'm going to continue with the whole good vibes thing. I recently made a TikTok about something that was said to me that is stuck with me for a long time. And one of it is my cousin, he taught me how to be kind to people without expecting stuff back from them. And that really shaped how I treat people nowadays. That was back when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I'm 32 in 2 months, so like I treat people with just front-based like kindness, like a friend needs somewhere to stay, or my friend doesn't have money for food, or donate to a charity or something. Like I don't expect them to return the favor, and not expecting stuff like that, I think, is a good thing. You obviously don't want to be taken advantage of, but to just be able to put that kind of energy into the world, I think a lot. I think that's needed more right now, especially more than ever. So my final thought is be kind because you can, not because you expect something from it.
Nice.
That was nice.
Thanks.
I'll go real quick. I don't really have one because it was used at the beginning of the level, so I will fall back. I will fall back to my second biggest hobby, which is board gaming. I haven't really talked about board games much in a while, so I want to hype up a game called Awkward Guess. Now, Awkward Guess is like Clue on steroids. It's the much better version of Clue. So if you're a fan of that, maybe try to look this up. There's no dice rolling. There's no luck of, hey, did I get a 6 so I can make it to this next room? There are cards that you hold in your hand, and you ask people for certain clues, and if they have them, they give them to you, and you've got to give them something back. So you're getting something, but you always got to give back. And there's a ton of deduction in this game, a ton of reading your paper and seeing which rooms people went through to get to the murder room and what weapons they use. It's a really great board game. If you ever have a chance to play it, check it out. Awkward Guess. And it might be on the iOS. I don't know. Check it out.
Nice.
Sounds interesting, actually.
So, my final thought is going to be, not that I'm intending to make a very specific political statement, because I am not. But my final thought is, there is a movie coming out soon called Judas and the Black Messiah. It stars Daniel Kaluuya from the Black Panther. It stars Lakeith Stanfield, who has been in everything, but Sorry to Bother You is one. You also may know him. You also may know both of them from Get Out. Actually, they're both. Dan Kaluuya is the main character from Get Out, and Lakeith Stanfield plays the guy who gets abducted in the beginning. Spoilers.
Come on.
So yes, but it stars both of them. It is a biographical drama that details the life of William O'Neill as he infiltrates the Black Panther Party to try to take down the chairman, a man named Fred Hampton. And so I would say, look out for that movie. And also, I would implore you guys to maybe read and look into Fred Hampton, who is a very interesting person. He was leader of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party that was gunned down at the age of 21. But within that very young age, he was able to have a very large impact on the world. And he tried to change it and make it for the better. So I would say, because that's what I'm doing, I'm reading into him. I'm exploring this stuff. It's just kind of some things I'm interested in. So guys, maybe do a little bit of reading. Maybe check out some historical figures. I've been playing some CK3. I've been into history that way too. Maybe if you don't want to read about Fred Hampton, you want to read about King Henry VIII, you want to read about Marie Antoinette, do that. My final thought is read. How about that? Read and seek knowledge. But that's...
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is
I have
power.
been reading Old Man Logan, so thank you for that motivation.
Very nice. Very nice. That is going to be the end of this level 20 of the Thoughts and Players podcast. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast service. We are on the Apples and the Googles and the Spotifys and the Stitchers and the iHeartRadios and a bunch of other places. Okay. We are also at Facebook.com. You can like the podcast there at Facebook.com/Thoughts and Players, all one word. We are on Instagram, Thoughts.Players, Twitter at ThoughtsPlayers2. That's correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You can also find us on YouTube, and we are also on TikTok at Thoughts Players, I believe, as well. We're all there. We'll make sure we have the social media deets in the log, in the show notes, as well as in any descriptions or any place like that. But that is it for me. That is it for my compadres. That is it for this level. And we will catch you on the next level.
Peace.